The door clicks open. Too early? Too quiet? Too wrong. The millionaire steps inside with his coat still on, phone still warm in his hand, mind still stuck on profit charts and closing numbers, when the sound hits him like a slap. A sharp intake of breath. A whisper so small, it almost disappears into the walls. Sir, please, stay quiet. The words barely make it out, but the fear inside them fills the entire house. He freezes, heart stalling. Eyes locking onto the woman, at the end of the hallway, his maid. The same woman who has polished these floors until they shined like mirrors. The same woman who always kept her eyes down, her voice soft, her presence nearly invisible. Now she stands stiff, trembling, finger pressed to her lips, eyes wide like she's seen something she can't unsee. The silence presses down hard, thick as smoke. Then it breaks. Laughter floats down from upstairs. Deep voices, male voices. Easy, confident, comfortable. Not his. Familiar in a way that tightens his chest without warning. He doesn't move. He doesn't speak. He doesn't even breathe right. The house he owns suddenly feels borrowed. He looks at her again. Really looks. The way her shoulders shake. The way her mouth opens like she wants to say more but can't. Risk it. She looks smaller than she ever has. Like a child caught stealing bread just to survive. And in that moment, something cracks. This woman has worked here for years. Years of early mornings. Years of late nights. Years of being treated like part of the furniture. Quiet. Reliable. Replaceable. She was never supposed to whisper commands to him. Never supposed to warn him. Never supposed to look at him like this. Fear has broken the rules, Wealth wrote. He follows her gaze slowly to the staircase. The dark curve of it feels like a throat-swallowing sound. Another laugh echoes down. Louder this time. He recognizes it now. The easy laugh of men who know they belong. Men who think this house is theirs too. His heartbeat grows loud in his ears. He thinks of how many times he's walked past this hallway without noticing anything. How many times he's given orders without looking up from his phone. Make sure the floors are done. I'll be late. Lock up. He assumed silence meant peace. He assumed quiet meant everything was fine. Now that quiet feels like a lie, he helped build the walls feel closer. Like they're listening. Like they've heard things he never wanted to hear. The maid's whisper wasn't just a warning, it was a confession. Something has been happening in this house. Something ugly. Something fed by power and protected by money. Something that grew in the space where no one was watching. He takes a slow step inside and closes the door behind him without a sound. The click is soft, but it feels loud. Too loud. Her eyes dart to the stairs again. Another voice drifts down, careless and loud, talking about a drink, about comfort, about time. These men sound at home. That's what makes his stomach twist. He nods once to the maid, a small movement, telling her he understands, even though he doesn't fully. His heart pounds harder with every second. He realizes he has no idea what's waiting upstairs. He realizes the power he thought he controlled might have been used against someone who had none. And for the first time in a long time, he feels small. The maid swallows hard. Her finger trembles against her lips. She doesn't speak again. She doesn't need to. Her body is already telling the story. The way she leans slightly away from the stairs. The way she stands between him and that direction without even meaning to. Chillick, she's been doing this for a while. Protecting, enduring, learning how to stay quiet to survive. He notices details he never noticed before. The faint dark circle under her eye. The tight way she holds her hands together. The way her uniform looks too neat, like she's afraid any wrinkle will be used against her. He thinks about how easy it is for people like him to move through the world without fear. How doors open. How voices listen. How mistakes are forgiven. And how people like her learn early that speaking up costs too much. Another burst of laughter. Something clatters upstairs. A glass? Maybe his glass? He feels heat rise in his face. Anger tries to push forward, but something else holds it back. Shame. This is his house. His name on the gate. His power that lets others feel untouchable. He wonders how long this has been going on. How many days she's cleaned around footprints that weren't his. How many times she's heard footsteps that made her stomach knot. How many times she wanted to quit but needed the job. He remembers every time he thought he was a fair employer because he paid on time. Every time he thought kindness was optional. He never asked if she felt safe here. He never imagined she wouldn't. The maid shifts her weight slightly, as if the floor itself might betray her. Her eyes flick to him again, searching. Not for orders, for understanding. For protection. She was never promised. He realizes something then that hits harder than the laughter upstairs. She didn't whisper because she trusted him. She whispered because she had no one else. Because in that moment, he was the only thing standing between her and whatever waited above. That truth lands heavy. The balance has already shifted, and neither of them chose it. Power isn't in his money right now, it's in what he does next. In whether he listens or ignores. In whether this whisper disappears, like all the others. Footsteps. Move overhead. Slow. Confident. The sound of someone pacing like they own the place. The maid's breath catches. The millionaire's jaw tightens. He nods again, slower this time, telling her without words that he won't make a sound, that he sees her, that he hears the fear she's been carrying alone. His heart pounds so loud, he's sure they'll hear it upstairs. In this quiet hallway, with secrets pressing in from every wall, he understands something he never learned. In boardrooms or deals, owning everything doesn't mean knowing everything. And sometimes, the most powerful truth in a house doesn't shout, it whispers. They stay pressed into the shadow of the corridor as the voices upstairs grow louder, closer, careless. The sound of men who feel safe. The maid leans toward him, her voice breaking apart as it comes out, like each word has to fight its way free. She doesn't speak in full sentences at first. She can't. The truth spills in pieces. His business partner. His son, names he knows too well, faces he's trusted. Men who smile wide in public and shrink others in private. They use his name like armor, she says. They say it with laughs. He won't mind. He owes us. This is our place today. Started coming weeks ago. Always when he was gone. Always when the house was quiet enough to hide their noise. They drank his wine like it was free. They sprawled on his furniture. They treated the house like a playground and her like something that came with it. Her words speed up now, fear pushing them forward. She tells him how they snapped their fingers instead of calling her name. How they laughed when she asked them to lower their voices. How they made jokes that didn't sound like jokes at all. Jokes about her skin, about where she came from, about how lucky she was to be there. They ordered her to clean messes they made on purpose. They told her to hurry, to smile, to be grateful. When she pushed back, even a little, their tone changed. The smiles hardened. The voices dropped low. Don't forget your place, they said. You're lucky to work here. The words hit him one by one, heavy as fists. Each sentence lands. Like a bruise he can't see but feels everywhere. His chest tightens. His face burns. Not just with anger, with shame. This is what his absence has allowed. This is what power looks like when it thinks no one is watching. Upstairs, something crashes. Glass against wood. A sharp sound followed by loud laughter. The kind that comes easy when you don't fear consequences. The maid flinches so hard her shoulders jump. Instinct. Her body reacting before her mind can stop it. He notices that. The way her eyes dart. The way her hands curl in on themselves, like she's bracing for impact. She says she tried once to tell someone. Just once. She hints at it carefully, like the memory itself might punish her. She spoke to a supervisor. She said something didn't feel right. The answer came back fast and cold. Are you sure? They're important people. You don't want trouble? And just like that, the door closed. Who would believe her anyway? A black maid against men with money, suits, and smiles that work magic in boardrooms. Learned what the world teaches early. Stay quiet. Keep your job. Survive. Clean the mess. Swallow the insult. Go home tired and tell yourself tomorrow will be easier. The millionaire's hands shake at his sides. He clenches them, then forces them open. He listens. That's all he does. He listens to every detail he never bothered to ask for. Every piece of a story hidden behind clean floors and polite greetings. He feels sick thinking about how many times he praised himself for being fair. How many times he told people he treated his staff well. He paid on time. He didn't yell. He thought that was enough. He didn't see how power works in quiet spaces. How it fills the gaps when the powerful leave. He wants to storm upstairs. He wants to remind them whose house this is. He wants to shout names and end it fast. But something stops him. A cold understanding settles in. Rage feels good, but it's shallow. It burns bright and then disappears. What's been happening here is deeper than anger. It's routine, practiced, comfortable, and shouting won't undo weeks of fear or years of silence. Another voice floats down. Closer now, joking about another drink. His drink? The maid's breath catches again. He realizes she's been living with this tension day after day, not knowing when footsteps would mean work or humiliation. He realizes how small choices stack up, how his late nights and early flights created space for this, how his trust became a weapon in someone else's hand. He feels the urge to apologize rise in his throat, but the words don't come yet. Not because he doesn't mean them, but because apologies without action are just noise. He keeps listening. He keeps still. He lets her finish. She tells him about the looks, the way they looked at her like she was less than human, like she was part of the house, not a person in it. She tells him about the fear of losing her job, about bills waiting, At home. About family who depend on her. About how every insult came with a reminder of what she could lose. Her voice lowers when she admits she started timing her days around their visits. Adjusting her cleaning schedule. Finding reasons to stay out of rooms they like to sit in. Making herself smaller so she wouldn't be noticed. Each word cuts deeper than the last. This is what power allows. Not just big crimes. Small, daily cruelty. The kind that eats away at dignity, one comment at a time. The millionaire's jaw tightens until it aches. He feels helpless in a way he never has before. His wealth can buy silence, comfort, escape. But it can't erase what she's already lived. He sees now that injustice doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers orders and laughs afterward. Sometimes it wears a friendly face. Sometimes it hides behind names people trust. He looks at the stairs again. He can hear them moving now. Chairs, scraping, feet pacing. They are getting closer to the edge of discovery without knowing it. The tension hums in the air, sharp and electric. He takes a slow breath and meets the maid's eyes. There's fear there. Yes, but there's something else too. Relief? She's finally being heard. Even if nothing changes, this moment matters. Someone knows. Someone sees. He nods slightly, not as a boss, but as a man who understands the weight of what she's carrying. He doesn't promise anything out loud. He doesn't need to look. On his face tells her enough. Upstairs, the laughter continues, unaware of the storm building beneath it. The injustice isn't loud. It's routine. And for the first time, that routine is about to be challenged. The house holds its breath, waiting for what comes next. The staircase creaks, so loud. In the quiet house, every sound feels sharp now, like it could cut. A door upstairs opens, and one of the men steps into view, already wearing a smile he's practiced for years. A smile meant to charm, to control, to dismiss. He takes one step down, still laughing, still careless in. He sees him. The millionaire stands at the bottom of the stairs. Fully visible now, shoulders squared, face calm in a way that feels dangerous. No shouting, no rage, just stillness. The kind that makes confident men forget their lines. The smirk slips. Color drains from his face. Behind him, the laughter stops mid-breath. Silence falls hard. While the man starts, forcing a laugh that doesn't land. We were just the words tangle and fall apart as the millionaire lifts one hand. Not fast, not angry, just enough. Silence obeys him immediately. He doesn't look at the man anymore. He turns instead toward the maid. The shift is small, but powerful. For the first time, the focus isn't on wealth or authority. It's on her. He asks her to speak. His voice is even controlled. Respectful. The room feels like it's holding its breath. Her eyes widen. This wasn't part of the plan she never made. Her voice shakes as she starts, thin at first, like she's testing whether it's safe. She tells them when it began. The dates, the afternoons, when the house felt wrong. She names the jokes, the comments. The way hands stayed too long when they passed behind her. The way voices dropped when cameras were out of sight. As she speaks, something changes. Hair back straightens. Her words come faster, clearer. Fear gives way to truth. The men shift. One scoffs. Another laughs too loudly. That's not how it happened, someone says. She's exaggerating. They talk over her, trying to drown her out the way they always have. The millionaire doesn't stop her. He lets her finish. Every sentence lands heavy in the room. She tells them about the threats, the reminders of her job, the warnings to stay quiet, the promise that no one would believe her. She pauses once, swallowing hard, then continues. The room feels smaller. With every word, the men's faces hardened. Smiles turn sharp. They try again to interrupt, to deny, to joke their way out. Then the millionaire reaches into his pocket. He doesn't rush. He pulls out his phone like this was always going to happen, like he's been waiting. He presses a button. Sound fills the space. Clear, clean, unmistakable. Voices. Their voices. Laughing, ordering, threatening. Words they forgot the moment they spoke them. Now frozen and loud. The room changes instantly. The air turns heavy. The men go still. No one laughs. Now, no one interrupts. The maid's recording plays on, second after second, exposing what money usually hides. This isn't rumor. This isn't memory. This is proof. Fear, captured and turned into armor. The maid didn't just clean this house. She protected herself. She planned for the day someone would finally listen. The power in the room collapses. You can see it in their faces. In the way their shoulders slump. In the way they avoid each other's eyes. The millionaire watches them closely. Men he once trusted. Men he defended in meetings. Men who wore his name like it belonged to them. Now he sees them clearly. Not strong, Not untouchable. Just small. Smaller than the woman standing beside him. He doesn't raise his voice when he speaks. He doesn't need to. He tells them to leave. Immediately, he says lawyers will be in touch. He says consequences won't be quiet, won't be hidden, won't be handled behind closed doors. He says this ends now. They try once more. Apologies spill out, messy and desperate. We didn't mean let's talk about this. He doesn't respond. He simply waits. The silence does the work. One by one, they turn and head for the door. The sound of their footsteps feels different now. Heavier. The door opens. Slams shut. The echo lingers like a final word. The house exhales. A long, deep breath it's been holding for weeks. The quiet that follows isn't dangerous anymore. It's clean. The maid stands there, arms at her sides, breathing hard. She doesn't cry. She doesn't smile. She stands taller than before, not because someone saved her, but because she saved herself. The millionaire looks at her and feels something close to awe. All this time, he thought power lived in accounts and contracts. He was wrong. It lived in preparation, in courage, in a woman who refused to let fear erase her voice. He wants to say something meaningful, something big, but the words feel too small. So he says nothing. Sometimes silence can finally mean respect. The moment stretches. The truth hangs in the air between them. What happens next hasn't been decided yet. Consequences will come. Headlines, lawsuits, questions. He won't be able to dodge. He knows this isn't over. He also knows there's no going back. He looks around his house and sees it differently now. Not as a place he owns, but as a place that must be safe. He understands something he never learned before. Power doesn't prove itself by what it can take. It proves itself by what it protects. The maid turns slightly, as if unsure what to do next. This house has always told her where to stand, where to go, when to speak. Now those rules feel broken. The millionaire meets her eyes again, steady and serious. Whatever comes next will matter. For both of them, the door upstairs stays open, the sound of the past fading with every second. The house is quiet, but the story isn't finished yet. The real cost of truth is about to be paid. Morning comes soft and slow. Sunlight spills through the windows like it's been waiting for permission. The house feels different now. Not quieter, cleaner, lighter, as if the walls themselves have let go of something heavy they were carrying. The millionaire sits at the kitchen table instead of his grand desk for the first time in years. No suit, no phone buzzing beside him, just a cup of coffee growing cold in his hands. The maid stands across from him, unsure at first where to place herself. Old habits pull at her feet, telling her where she usually belongs. He notices and gently pulls out a chair. Not an order, an invitation. She hesitates, then sits. The space between them feels charged. Not with fear this time, but with truth that still needs air. He doesn't start with excuses. He doesn't talk about stress or pressure or how busy he's been. He doesn't reach for his checkbook. He looks at her and speaks plainly. He says he's sorry. Not the kind of sorry that tries to end a conversation, the kind that opens one. He admits he confused silence with consent. He thought loyalty meant comfort. He thought because she stayed, she was fine. He admits he used his power without meaning to, by not paying attention, by not asking questions, by letting his name protect people who didn't deserve it. His voice doesn't shake, but his eyes do. He tells her he failed her, he failed this house, and he won't let that happen again. He tells her he's not offering just a raise, though that will come too. He's offering respect that shows up every day, a voice that matters. A seat at conversations she was never invited into. He promises this house will never again be a place where fear hides behind wealth. He promises accountability, real rules, real protection. He says he wants to know who feels safe here and who doesn't. He wants to listen before damage is done. The words hang in the air, heavy with responsibility. She listens closely. She doesn't smile. Not yet. Trust doesn't come on command. It grows slow or not at all. She nods, once, a small nod, but it's real. And that's enough to start. Later that day, the world outside the house catches up. News breaks quietly at first, then all at once. Headlines spread. Names once spoken with respect, now followed by questions. The business partner's reputation collapses under the weight of his own words. Audio doesn't lie. The son's future shifts overnight. Doors close that once swung open. Easily power doesn't look so strong when light touches it. People act surprised, but the truth is, it was always there. It just needed someone brave enough to hold it up. The millionaire watches it all from a distance. He doesn't celebrate. He doesn't hide. He lets it happen. Consequences are not punishment. He realizes they're correction. Then the days that follow, he moves differently. He asks different questions. He notices the people he once walked past. He funds programs he never paid attention to before. Legal aid for workers who speak up. Clear protections for staff. Training that teaches listening, not just rules. He brings in voices that don't sound like his own. He learns how much he didn't know, and how easy it is to miss injustice when it doesn't touch you directly. He doesn't announce these changes with speeches. He lets them speak for themselves. Quiet work, steady work, the kind that lasts longer than headlines. The maid walks through the house differently. Now, her steps are steady, her head is high, she doesn't rush like she used to. She doesn't flinch at sudden sounds. When she speaks, people listen. Not because they're afraid, because they respect her. She's still good at her job, still careful, still proud of her work. But she's no longer invisible. She's no longer just someone who cleans. She's someone who was heard. Someone who stood up when it mattered most, even when fear told her not to. She didn't ask to be brave. She became brave because she had to. There are moments when the past tries to creep back in, when silence feels tempting again, when old habits whisper that it's easier not to speak. But those moments pass quicker now, because something fundamental has changed. The house remembers. The people inside it remember. Silence doesn't mean safety anymore. It means something needs attention. The millionaire understands now that leadership isn't about control. It's about care. It's about noticing who is standing quietly in the corner and asking why. About knowing that power without listening is just noise. The story doesn't end with applause. There's no crowd cheering, no dramatic music swelling. It ends the way real change often does. Quietly. With better days stacked one on top of the other. With respect becoming routine. With dignity treated as a right, not a reward. The house stands the same on the outside, but inside, it has learned something new. Wealth doesn't measure character. Silence doesn't mean weakness. And the true test of power isn't how loudly it speaks, but how quickly it listens when the unheard finally whisper, "Stay quiet. This matters."